This video is about a project where I try to combine casting with 3D printing, specifically by making match plate molds. I'll explain a little bit more about that and show the process, but first, sand casting. The way this works is you have a frame made of wood and you put into it a moldable sand. Into that sand goes a form, usually that's a wooden carved replica of the thing you want to make, and you press it down to what's called the parting line, specifically a piece of geometry that is the line that's going to be even with the sand on either side. This is where the mold will close to, and you can't have any overhangs above that level. Then you close up the mold, add in the sand to the other half, and then oh so carefully remove your form from the mold. Once that's removed from the sand, you essentially have a reverse sandcastle, an empty void into which you can pour molten metal to get an exact replica of that form, regardless of whether it was made of wood or 3D printed or anything else. Here we're casting bronze into that same mold that you saw a moment ago to make a replica of a prehistoric axe head. I think this process is tremendously cool, and I've actually done this myself. The trouble is, I'm not very good at it yet. And so in order to make things a little bit easier, I decided to combine this technique with the opportunities presented by my newest 3D printer, the absolutely enormous Prusa XL. But before we do that, let's explain what is difficult about casting that I'm trying to correct. This footage is taken from the casting workshop that we did with Will Ward. Here, I'm trying to remove the form for a Bronze Age sword from the sand. And you'll notice how carefully I have to go about doing that. If you disrupt it, it's very easy to collapse the sand mold that you've worked so hard to prepare on this side. So as I very carefully remove that out, I want to make that process easier. The other thing I want to make much easier is getting exactly down to the parting line so that the sand always comes to the appropriate level. It would also be nice if some of the vents and flues and other things you need for the molten metal to flow through were already pre-made into the form rather than sculpted freehand. This, hopefully, will make it easier to have castings that work the first time rather than the second, third, and fourth. And the idea is a match plate. What you do is you have your form built onto a flat plate. This is a mold not just of the object, but also of the gates, flues, risers, and the flat surface of the parting line. Here I've just thrown together some designs in Fusion 360, and I've got the flask that's going to hold the sand with these little notches in the top and bottom. And I've got a match plate that corresponds to that exactly. This will ensure that the sand for the one side of the flask will match perfectly with that for the other side. The theory all checks out. Now, let's print one and see how it works. The kind people over at Prusa sent me their Prusa XL, which is an absolutely enormous 3D printer. I've been really excited by this match plate idea, specifically because of the large build volume that this printer offers. With the ability to make much larger pieces, I've had the idea of making a large flask for items such as maybe even a bronze sword eventually. Should we take a look?
I actually did it! Take it off! Take it off!
Okay, let's do it. There it is.
This is what Daddy made.
Do they fit together? They do! They do!
That
they're
is
about twice as tall as they need to be. But that is awesome. Now, should we try it out?
What does it make?
We need some green sand. It's going to make these little things here with that little words on them.
Oh.
These are a sling bullet. The casting I'm making is a loose replica of this sling bullet from ancient Greece on the right. The message says catch in ancient Greek, and the one on the left is Zeus's thunderbolt. I find these sling bullets fascinating. It's an example of humans being humans no matter what area you're from. I enjoy making and using slings, and I've been curious about using a consistent kind of ammunition for a long time. So we're going to make some cast sling bullets. But first, we need green sand. We need to take some kitty litter and grind it up fine, and then mix it with sand. And that will be our green sand. Kitty litter is just a convenient way to get bentonite clay from the grocery store. Okay, that is zeroed out. Here's our bentonite clay. And our reading is about 590 grams. Now, figure out how much sand we need. 16.
Ow.
17. Last ingredient we need, water. Tiny bit at a time.
To make
Green sand.
what?
We're making green sand.
Green sand?
Yep.
For the thing that you just planted?
Yes, for that thing? Exactly. The term green sand doesn't actually refer to the color green. It refers to like a green branch that has moisture in it. I've been adding water using this spray bottle and then mixing and checking. And what I'm looking for is the minimum amount of water that will make the sand do this, where squeezing it into my hand makes it form a solid lump. It is much easier to add water than it is to take it away. So go slowly on this is what I've heard. And that is honestly looking really good. Now with green sand, it's time to assemble the mold. We have one flask attached to the match plate. Not using any sort of mold release. I wonder if that's going to bite me in the butt. Okay, let's hammer in a first layer. You scrape off the excess. That looks pretty good. Ah, poop. Take two. And let's dust it. I didn't have any baby powder, but I do have a tiny bit of plaster of Paris. And I have this vague idea that if I dust it in plaster of Paris, the plaster will actually set and harden. Maybe hold it in place. So let's give that theory a try, shall we? Treat it like powdered sugar. Oh, that was less than precise. Oh wow, that's kind of neat. You can see the text on all the little... Oh, Joseph, did you do the dumb? I apparently didn't think this through. The text is going to be mirrored on the mold, not on the finished part. I did think it through by not thinking it through. Very good. That's better than before. That
Whoa!
is better.
Whoa, Dada.
Okay.
No way!
I'm tempted
No
to
way,
try it out.
Dada. No way, Dada.
Yeah,
No
right?
way. No way.
Okay, back up. I think we should melt some metal and see if it works.
Dada,
Watch out, buddy.
I want out. I'm thinking. Second.
Watch out, buddy.
Dada, thank you.
Oh, no, no, no. Don't melt my plastic.
What is this? I want to see. I want to see.
For a first attempt, I am very pleased with that, actually.
Repeat.
I wonder if any of them show the words.
Repeat. Repeat.
They do! Holy cow! This technique really seems viable. I gave it another cast with that mold, and then I came up with an upgraded version that improved on some of the geometry that I learned about. This is also the time that I set the flasks on fire, which was bound to happen with 3D printed plastic flasks. Still, surprisingly, out of 3 casts, only 1 caught fire, so maybe if I'm careful about the way I build the pouring cup, I can avoid that in the future. Still, at $20 a kilogram for plastic, that's reasonably doable. That is awesome. That's version 2. This is how it turned out. That is nuts. Look at that detail. This is just for venting. I don't think I need this little riser thing, and that's where I burned the outside of my mold. The mold problem is significant. I think I might have to make flasks out of aluminum. Use a temporary one to make permanent ones, but that is awesome. Look at that. Dexi. Wow. That is nuts. Took 2 hands, but I just barely used these tongs to break these loose. And these look awesome. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and thank you for watching.